today. What's up, everybody? Welcome in to a very special Championship Sunday edition of your sports and sports betting brand of record. We call it Driving the Line. Normally, we're here every single weekday. It's hard to believe we've only been here for 2 weeks, and already it feels like it's been 2 years. The rebranding, the relaunching has done an amazing job, all because of you. But I got one very, very small favor to ask. I need you all, every time you come into the show, hit that like button for me. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I encourage you to do that as well, and then share the show with everybody. So without further ado, let's bring in the stars of the show, because we got a lot to get to today, and you know them. You love them here on a Sunday as I've been on the road. Oh, my boys are in the friendly confines. My five-tool player, AB, is here. I'll get to AB in a second. But my man who cruised through the last 2 weeks down under, not even missing one single solitary pick. The legend, Howie Schwab, undefeated in the Australian Open. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Great to be here. Excited about football. But I was excited about the Australian Open. It was great.
Absolutely great. Chris in the chat says, I love being here so much. Can't wait for Coach and the crew to get us going this morning. Chris, we appreciate all of you. And if you have any questions, we'll try to get to as many as we can in real time. Always, Jacob is in the chat. My man Steve Scott's in the chat, and also Fast Eddie Fernandez. But AB, it's all about the crew. It's all about the universe. What is our crew's play of the day selections this morning?
It is all about the crew, and we have 4 very interesting bets for the crew to choose from today. You'll see the poll in the chat. All right, I think I just lost my camera here. Not sure what's going on with that, but if you can still hear me, we're still good to go.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. First off, Chiefs plus 7.5 and over 40.5 at plus 135. You got the Ravens money line and over 37.5 at plus 105. Lions plus 10.5 and over 40.5 at minus 105. And the 49ers plus 6.5 and under 55.5 at minus 120. So vote now in the chat. You'll see the poll there, and we will choose the highest selected answer at the end of the show.
I see a couple of selections that I really like there. I'm not going to give it away, but I'll tell you at the end which one I would vote for if I had a vote. All right, guys, we got a lot to get to today. Also, if you stick around to the end of the show, we'll have a couple of extra college basketball picks for my man Howie Schwab. But Howie, we're starting with the first game today, 3 o'clock Eastern time this afternoon. And to be honest with you, I wish the games were flipped, because I'll be calling golf at the same time. But people have 2 TVs. But this spread, and I've been watching BetMGM, Bovada, all of the sports books, and it just keeps climbing. BetMGM basically was begging people last night to bet on the Chiefs. It's now at 4.5. The total is 44.5. Are you surprised that it started at 2.5 6 days ago, and it's climbed 2 points in a championship game?
I'm totally shocked, because people are just discounting the Kansas City Chiefs, who find ways to win, especially come playoff time. And Lamar Jackson going against a defense led by Jones up front, this is not going to be easy. I know the game's in Baltimore, but still, I'm shocked. And actually, I'm happy, because if you want to give me extra points, I'll be happy to take them. Originally, I was taking Kansas City, I think, at 2.5 and hoping to get to a field goal. Now I'm at 4.5. Thanks. I'm not sure why people are betting up the Ravens this big. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's almost as if it's kind of like the Tom Brady effect, I feel like. That everybody wants Mahomes to lose. Everybody wants the Chiefs to lose, so they're betting against it. It's like, hey, if I put my money against the Chiefs, maybe that'll happen. Japan in the chat says, Coach, them Chiefs ain't winning. Well, I'm looking at records, AB, and I'm looking at everything number 15 has done. 6 straight seasons as a starting quarterback. 6 straight seasons he's been in the AFC Championship game. He's chasing legacy. So I understand why people wouldn't want him to win, but 4.5 against the Chiefs? Are they serious?
And betting for what you want to happen is the dumbest thing that you could possibly do, right? Like, you might not want these things to happen. People bet against Tom Brady constantly. And you know what he did? He just showed up and just crushed your soul. I'm surprised too. Like 4.5, that's a massive number. Now you need 5 or more to cover this, right? And again, like I thought last night, it was sitting Ravens -4.
Yep.
And in my head, I was like, okay, it's going to drop. It'll be Chiefs -3.5. Probably won't get to 3, but we'll see 3.5, and it'll sit there, and then we'll see what the big money does.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps going back to the Ravens, man. Like, it surprises me. So, yeah, I mean, here we are.
You know, it also brings to light, because we talk about all the different ways that you can bet on a game. And now when you talk about a teaser, because you put out on our YouTube channel, if people haven't watched it yet, kind of the percentages when numbers are at 3, the 7, the 10. And now if I tease this, it goes over 10.5. So if you don't like the 4.5, Howie, I could put this game into a teaser, and I would be just fine with taking the Lions up as well. To me, this is a sweet spot for me at 10.5.
Absolutely. I like I said, I'm really surprised of the lack of respect for Andy Reid, for the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs are not as good as past years in many people's opinion. But then when you look at what Pacheco does running the ball, and he is going to play, there was a question at one point. When you see what Kelce does, when you see what the defense can do, I mean, look what they did last week, stopping Josh Allen at the end of the game. I mean, Josh Allen stopped himself too, but I'm shocked by the lack of respect. This is a defending champ. I mean, this is a very good football team that is just being disrespected.
Here's the thing, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Howie, because AB, when I look at all of these, and I wrote it in my article as a guest writer for Bovada this week, and thank you to them for having Driving the Line, being a part of their championship Sunday. But when you look at it, every quarterback in this game, in playing today, is playing for something different. And for Mahomes, he's already a Hall of Famer. For Mahomes, he's already there. This is about legacy and about how many years ago was it? There'll never be another Tom Brady. There'll never be a guy win 6, 7 Super Bowls. Well, now we're staring down the barrel of a guy that could do just that. And the way that he could do it also adds to that legacy. So for me, as I'm looking at it today, I'm looking at it different ways from Patrick Mahomes as opposed to Lamar Jackson.
And look, Patrick Mahomes he's in that ilk of Tom Brady, in the ilk of, let me bring it to wrestling, of Ric Flair, right? Like, if you want to be the man, you've got to beat the man, and you've got to come take this belt off of my waist. Mahomes is not going to just hand it over to you at all. And we saw that right when the playoffs started. Jason Garrett said it on their first game against the Miami Dolphins. He goes, yeah, from what I understand, Patrick Mahomes was in everyone's ass on the Chiefs sideline and in the locker room. And you know what? It looked like it worked. All right. And you look at Baltimore. Yeah, they're an excellent football team, but all the pressure is on Baltimore. It is not on Kansas City at all. And if Kansas City comes out, gets a lead, man, good luck.
We saw it last week too. Because the storyline in Buffalo, Howie, was, well, Mahomes has done it, but he's always done it at home or at a neutral site in the Super Bowl. But now let's shift our focus a little bit to the total, because 3 of the last 4 meetings have sailed to the over. And the average point total between these two teams since 2019 is 51. I know it's a championship Sunday, but do you see points today, Howie?
I do see points today. And I know the Raven defense has been solid all year. But these two offenses with 2 great quarterbacks, with a lot of weapons, and with Andrews coming back for the Ravens, that's a plus as well. So I think both of these teams are ready to stack up some points. And remember this, if they get stopped on a drive, both have very good field goal kickers. Tucker, to me, slightly better, but you can see Kansas City's done fine in the playoffs so far in that category. I think it's a really even matchup. So giving me 4.5, wow. As far as the over, I would lean to the over, yes.
And for those of you that have to drop in and drop out, we do everything different here at Driving the Line, and this is Driving the Line Sunday edition. The picks are always at the bottom of the screen. Sometimes we'll get to them at the top of the show, sometimes the middle, sometimes at the end, but you always have them right there because we understand Not everybody has the same schedule every single day. Shout out to Kevin in the chat. Pat, plus money is there. Sean, everybody taking the time on a Sunday. We appreciate it. Now, on the other side, AB, and we'll get to our new picks as well, but on the other side, you've got a quarterback that's just about to be named the league MVP. Last week, he ran for 100 yards. You look at his total this week. I played it on Thursday. It was in the 60s, and you knew it was going to change and move and all of that. But you say to be the man, you got to beat the man. And now Lamar Jackson, after getting all that money, and everybody's saying, what are the Ravens doing? Why are they putting up with all of this? Well, we've seen this year why they put up with all of this. But now this is where an MVP has to play like an MVP. In your mind, what does Lamar Jackson have to do today to get the job done?
We've broken down Lamar Jackson on this show and what has made him the MVP this season. And really, it's two factors. Number one, he's not turning the ball over at all. Number two, with that, his passing game and his passing chart from new OC Todd Monken has essentially been take away the risk areas and throw to where Lamar Jackson trusts it. And it's 5-6 yards in short, safe passes that he has had a monster season in regards to completion percentage because he can make those throws. It's where he feels comfortable doing it. And they are short, efficient, to the point, and move on. Not only that, what you mentioned, his legs as well. A monster weapon. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he has that too, but not like Lamar. Not many people in the league have it like Lamar, and you're going to see it today. His rushing attempts number, Patrick Mahomes is sitting at 4.5 over under. Lamar's is 10.5, which again, if you look last week, a pretty easy number for him to achieve, right? Because what the Ravens don't want to do is turn the ball over or leave themselves in bad spots. So you will see Lamar Jackson use his legs throughout this game. First quarter, fourth quarter, ahead, behind, tied up, doesn't matter. He's going to use his legs. So, yeah, that's why he's the MVP, because you don't know what you're going to get, but he's going to test your defense in every single spot.
Yeah, minus 105 is that over 10.5, that according to our good friends over at BetMGM. So, Howie, I know we've had several picks all week because we're trying to beat the number, but let's jump right in now because I loved this when it was 61.5, and you still love it that it's 62.5. Are you a little surprised that the Kelce number hasn't shot up to the mid-60s yet?
I thought it would go up a little more, but I'll be happy to take this because Travis Kelce finds a way to get open. He gets open further down the field at times, and I think Travis Kelce is going to have a big, big game. Mahomes to Kelce. I mean, that's you see enough commercials with them. Oh. Now you have them going all out just to get to the Super Bowl. It's no bigger situation for me that Kelce has something to prove, and he will.
I think this plays into a lot, AB, of the narrative we've seen the last, really the 2 months since this whole Kelce Taylor Swift thing has taken off. Everybody doesn't like a winner. And whether it's Patrick Mahomes or number 87, they're rooting against all of it. But you look at Travis Kelce, yeah, he had kind of a subpar year for him. But last week, what did we see? When they had to get it done, who did they go to? Number 87, 5 catches, 75 yards, and 2 big scores. That's why I looked a lot at the anytime touchdown number for Kelce today, because I thought, is there enough value there for me to play that when get inside the 20 today? Who's number 15 going to? It's one, maybe it's 2 guys, Rashee Rice and also Travis Kelce. I love that me and Howie are on this number, and it literally just ticked at BetMGM to 63.5 minus 120.
Yeah, I mean, in the playoffs, you trust the guys that you trust. I mean, that sounds like a dumb sentence, but that's exactly what it is. And we've seen Mahomes go right back to Travis Kelce. And, yeah, I mean, Kelce's biggest problem this year was dropping passes. And once, essentially, after the Dolphins game, he dealt with that a little bit. That was it. Our man looked back to normal after that one. And I think that Mahomes, kind of got at Kelce a little bit and said, bro, I don't care who's in the stands. I don't care what else is going on. The only reason that people know who you are is what you do on this field. Mm-hmm. All right. And it got Kelce's attention. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has another big day today. Now, the Ravens defense, phenomenal against tight ends, but not every tight end is Travis Kelce. So you're going to see Mahomes get to him. He's going to test it early to see how open Kelce's going to be on these routes, how Kelce is feeling. You know what, man? Big-time players show up in big-time games, and we've seen Kelce do it over and over and over. Coach, it's kind of like when you're playing golf, and if you have, a bad round, and you're going to play, it's Sunday morning, you go to the range, right, dump the balls out, you just flush that first 7-iron, you're like, okay, yep, we're feeling it today, let's go.
See, that shows you how much AB doesn't play golf. If your first shot was a 7-iron, that's an issue. Give me the 56. Give me the 56. Now,
hey, no wedges around here, baby. We're going straight 7. Let's go.
Lou's Lop Shop. Let's go. That's one tight end. And by the way, you're watching Driving the Line. We've just passed 10:15 in the morning Eastern time. We're here every single weekday at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Me and the crew breaking it all down. This coming week, we're introducing a whole bunch of new crew members, so you want to tune in for that. Now, Howie, we talk about Kelce on one side. Well, there's a tight end on the other side that makes a big-time difference. And for the Ravens, they get him back today. His number at BetMGM is 32.5. And I'm talking about Mark Andrews. And his receiving number is, right now it's sitting at 3.5 plus money. How big of a difference do you think it's going to be for the Ravens to have him, even if he's 70, 75%?
Because on the list I sent you in, I have Andrews going over. So I don't know why it's not up there, but I have Mark Andrews.
It is there. It is there. It's
okay.
All right. How much?
It's under 40. Oh, I see.
It's there.
Okay, it's all bunched up. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I thought it would be space.
How big of a difference, Howie, should he make?
A big difference. I mean, Jackson loves throwing to him. Look at his history. I mean, and he's now healthy enough to be in position and to make a difference. And they will throw to him. I bet he gets 5 or 6 catches at least. And so I love Andrews in this game.
Joey D said, I just placed a sweet Schwab no sweat SGP. That could be on a T-shirt. $5 to win $1,000. Joey, let us know if that hits, courtesy of our man, Howie Schwab. All right, so Mark Andrews, 35.5. You think he's going to have 5 or 6, so his number is 3.5. So leaning into it a lot. And AB, when I look at the splits with Lamar Jackson, and you wonder if, and I say this about playoffs all the time, whether it's in NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, players play differently. They start to play a little bit more either looser or they get tightened up. And Lamar Jackson last week, he was back, and I thought he took a lot of time, and then he ran 11 carries for that 100 yards. But today, he's already talking about Patrick all week long, and we know it's because he's been asked questions. But do you think maybe if he starts to speed things up a little bit, then he's not looking at his second and third options, and he takes off just a little bit faster today?
I do think so. And we go back and look at the Ravens last week. All right. That was their first meaningful game that they had played in 3 weeks. And we saw the first half. There was some rust. And we saw at halftime, John Harbaugh, well, we didn't see it, but we heard about it after the game, lit into Lamar Jackson and the entire Ravens team. And what they do in the second half, defense lights out, offense lights out. Now you've had a week of practice. All right. You got the nervousness out of your way. But then again, those nerves come back up because when you are expected to be the best team in your conference and go to the Super Bowl, we'll see that on the other side with the San Francisco 49ers, the pressure is on you. You are playing at home for a reason. Your fan base is there. They are going to either be cheering or they're going to be a little pissed off if this is not looking how it should be.
Yes.
It's not like the Ravens have a ton of history of being fantastic in the playoffs in these big moments. So, yeah, we'll find that out early, but I agree with you. He'll go to his legs quickly.
There's a lot of people in the chat that are also talking about over 1.5 field goals, either for Tucker or on the Chiefs side. I know, Howie, one of your best bets today is for all 4 teams to hit at least 1 field goal. But when you look at this game in particular, do you think, well, the Ravens are a team that goes for it a lot. Andy Reid is very, very conservative when it comes to going for it on 4th downs. So which kicker would you lean into more to go over 1.5 field goals if you had to?
That's tough because it depends on situation. And I think Kansas City could get stopped at times and settle for the 3. Baltimore likes to go for it sometimes on 4th down, but they have Tucker who can hit from 60. So this is really a tough question. I would answer it Tucker, though, because after last week when he got the second one, thank God, to get me over, I believe Tucker, because of his length, slightly gets an advantage.
That was such a great sweat last week. I wish you guys, and maybe this will be a part of what we do with crew exclusive stuff, but getting to see our text messages, all of us together, oh, hey, that hit or that was a sweat. It's so much fun. We all do it together. We're going to have watch parties if you're a part of the crew as well for all the big games, March Madness, maybe the Super Bowl. So we're still figuring all that out. But it's so much fun to see how my guys figure things out, handicap certain things, and bets like this, because at a lot of the books, you can make different bets. And AB, in this game, you have the Chiefs nor the Ravens to score on their first drive. That's plus money. Explain that.
Correct, sir. We are going to bank on both teams not wanting to make the big mistake at the beginning of the game, because you can't win it in the first half, but you damn sure could lose that game in the first half if you mess around. So we're going to take Chiefs-Ravens, both scoreless opening drives at plus 145, all right? Now, you were just talking about Justin Tucker as well. Howie's right. That is a tough decision, but I'm going to agree with him. Justin Tucker here. That's why we're taking it over 1.5 field goals, and both teams to score over 12.5 points, essentially 13 points, right? They're both going to score 13 points or more. But I love Justin Tucker today because the Ravens, not only do they use Tucker when they're behind, they use him when it's tied, and they absolutely use him when they are ahead, because he's essentially an ATM machine for points. And when they could shorten the game to where you need to go 75 yards to score, they need to go 45 yards to score. That is a huge weapon. Now, the Chiefs have it too, and a great kicker. But again, I think Tucker, one of the best of all time to ever do it. So, yeah, we're going to roll with that. Then, 49ers Ravens money line, all 4 teams to score 10 points or more, plus 160. You're going to see some wild bets out of me today, but plus money, we're looking to make some cash, stack a few tokens today, Coach.
I like it. I like it a lot. By the way, Goats Headfool says, will you be using a chat room for the crew on live events? Oh, AB. We're going to be way more than that. Guess where the crew's going to be when we watch games? Right here on YouTube. That has a chat already. Everything is YouTube streamlined just for all of you, whether it's our shows, which are always free, or the crew exclusive stuff. All of it's going to be right here. All of Howie's homies are out there. Howie, they all want the t-shirt. I'm one of Howie's homies. I called Eduardo, and he says, are we really making this? I go, you're damn right we're going to make this. Oh, everybody wants to be part of Howie's homies. Now, real quick, I want your response to this, Howie, because I played these on Thursday and on Friday, and I'm with you on the Travis Kelce. We know that. I love Lamar Jackson over 64.5 rush yards. It is so hard for me to take my heart out of it and put my head into it. But I know this, that over the years, and I wrote this one down, since 2019, no team has allowed more rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks, 26, in the regular season than the Chiefs. So to me, because of how they play, and Spagnuolo loves to play man-to-man defense where they turn their back and they better run a spy on Lamar Jackson, and that doesn't even mean they can stop him then. So I like him to go north of 70 yards today on the ground. Love the Kelce anytime touchdown. On Thursday, it was plus 115 when we gave it out. And also the team total when it was 20.5 at minus 105. I feel even better about those plays today, Howie, than I did on Thursday. Specifically, do you like my Lamar Jackson play?
I do. I think for Baltimore to win this game, he's going to have a big game running the ball, because the running backs are not as strong as some other teams in the playoffs. So to me, Lamar Jackson is a huge factor in this game. And I think Kansas City's going to put some pressure on him. And so he'll get out of the pocket and start running. And so the 10.5 over carries, that is in play as well. Yep. I mean, I think that these two quarterbacks are both going to have big games.
AB, I swear to God, I love you like a brother. But if Lamar Jackson gets 3 rushing attempts today because he's kneeling at the end of the game, I'm going to lose my mind. My mind, I say. My mind, I say. Anything else, AB, on this game for you before we move to the second game today, sir?
No, not really. I mean, again, 49ers money line, Ravens money line, and all 4 teams to score 10 plus points, getting that at plus 160. Understand, BetMGM has this for every single option that you could get down on. And I took the smallest of odds at plus 160. So go to BetMGM. All right, open up your app. Go take a look not only at some of these scoring win totals, SGPs, but also the signature bets as well. There are so many good options that BetMGM has up there. So go check that out for sure.
I would love. I have visions all the time, and I had a vision last night that a driving the line play of the day at BetMGM, that just has a nice ring to it. This just has a really nice ring to it.
It has an excellent ring to it. And let me say this, BetMGM, their mascot is a lion, correct? Right?
Correct.
Yeah, driving the line, lion. There's something there.
I like that.
I'll tell you what, this is so much fun for fans because when you're betting like this, you have so much interest in the game, you're not going to turn away. You're just going to watch the entire game, see if you cover, and just have fun. It's more than just rooting for your favorite team. It's rooting for your player, rooting for everything. And that's what's great about this. People enjoy this so much.
Boom. And they're also rooting for Coach Phil. Zach says, any updates on Coach Phil? We need a philosophy today. Joey says, faux show. I miss Coach Phil. His spice adds to the show's flavor. Well, how about everybody right now in the chat, right? We miss you, Phil. That's all I need you to do. We miss you, Coach Phil. So I know he's watching right now, and I want him to feel the love from all of you out there in the universe. All right, we are approaching the bottom of the hour, about 10:30. In the East, 7:30 in the West, where I normally sit. I'm on the road. I encourage you, if you have 2 TVs today, please support what I'm doing on the Golf Channel, the APGA Final Round today. It's a tour that embraces diversity and inclusion. The PGA Tour is a heavy investor in this. I'll be calling the play-by-play today, but we've got to grow the game of golf. At DTL Golf, we do that as well. So I encourage you, one TV, have the football on. The other one, put on the Golf Channel and check us out there as well. All right, the late game. I'll be done for this one, boys. I'll be done for this one. All the way out west, 49ers. The number is now at an even 7, total 51.5. Think the Lions are going to win, you want to bet it on the money line, it's plus 275. So, Howie, we know you like the Niners to not only win today, but cover. Last week, it took them until 1 minute left in the game to take the lead. Brock Purdy having the drive of his career thus far. Let's start with the 49ers. Why do you think at home they cover such a big number?
I think the 49er defense is capable of forcing turnovers. More than even the Lions. I think that's one factor. Second, home field, going from an indoor to an outdoor, I think is a minor factor. And third, you can't stop McCaffrey. How are you going to stop McCaffrey? You're going to actually try to stop him running the ball, which is why I think he's very dangerous on the receiving. Only 33.5 yards receiving. They'll throw the ball him out of the backfield 4 or 5 times, in my opinion. So I went back and forth because in my heart, I would love the Lions to win. What a great story. It'd be amazing. And Dan Campbell's done a terrific job. But with my head, I think the Niners at home. And I always feel that with these championship games, one underdog seems to cover and one favorite seems to cover. And that's what I decided to go with.
Yeah, it does seem that way sometimes. It's funny how that works. You never know which game it's going to happen in. And on the 49ers side, certainly something's going to happen or going to help them today, AB, is the fact that Deebo will be in the lineup. And he said, I saw a quote today. He said, I'm not, basically going to do anything other than full speed ahead. He hurt that shoulder last week. He only played in 9 snaps. But with Deebo now in the lineup, you have all of those different plays that Kyle Shanahan loves to call for him, but also it opens things up for Kittles, for Aiyuk, And for the rest of the offense, how important in your mind is it that Deebo, say like Mark Andrews, maybe 70% with that shoulder, but still in the game? How important to you?
It is unbelievably important that Deebo Samuel is in this offense. We saw it last week against Green Bay. San Francisco looked like a completely different team, and what Deebo Samuel does is everything. He's in the passing game. He takes handoffs. He'll take end arounds. This man is the all-purpose machine. Yes, Christian McCaffrey can do that too, but when you have two of them that are tough as hell, dude, it is brutal to deal with. That's why he is such a big difference maker for this team. So, yeah, man, Deebo Samuel, huge addition. Even if he's not necessarily getting all the touches that he normally does, just being on the field makes you have to pay attention to him.
And Howie is shaking that head over there. Yep. And I think you're shaking it because not only do you agree with him, but you also know that Deebo's going to open things up for a couple of your plays today. Let's start with the George Kittle play, because we saw him last week. He cashed at what? One catch? Two catches? He really has a great way of finding the pockets and getting 20 or 30 yards downfield. And this Lions defense, Howie, they allow plays like that.
The secondary is vulnerable, and that's why I love Kittle's. I actually loved Aiyuk until I heard Deebo's playing. Once I heard Deebo's playing, I pulled out the Aiyuk pick. Kittle's and even McCaffrey catching the ball out of the backfield. They're both going to be big factors. So Purdy's going to have some nice numbers too. But I think that Samuel being in the game is definitely a big factor, like AB said, because even if he's not getting the ball, you have to cover him. You have to be aware of him. And so that'll be a big factor.
AB, to Howie's point, last week I was the idiot, and I played Mike Evans under. And at the end of the first half, at the end of the game, they were just gouging that Lions defensive secondary with long plays. He had almost a $150. So I look at the Aiyuk number right now at BetMGM. It's minus 135, 75.5. That for a guy, and maybe there's not a, he had over 1,300 yards this season, kind of very quietly for this team. But when you're looking at 75.5, he could go for a $150, or Kyle Shanahan could say, hey, I'm going to go to somebody else because I figured something out. How dicey is that number for Aiyuk?
75.5 for Aiyuk is very dicey. That is, I mean, don't get me wrong. Aiyuk could go for 200 in any game, anytime. But you're looking at games like this where drives and possessions shorten. Well, possessions shorten, drives lengthen. Because you don't want to make a big mistake, and you're going to take your time to do it correctly. So when you see 75.5, when you have guys like Deebo Samuel, like Christian McCaffrey, keep going down the list, George Kittle, I mean, how many people are going to eat? Like, how many drives and opportunities do you think you're going to have? So you better hope that you hit bombs. Man, I don't know if Brock Purdy's that guy. So I'm not saying don't play it, but that's a large number for Aiyuk, man.
And I could have sworn you just said that drives are going to be lengthened, that you've got to do them the right way. I could have swore I just heard you say that, which leads right into two of my best bets, which I gave out earlier this week. One of them is Brock Purdy under 279.5 passing yards, minus 115. I just think that to ask Brock Purdy in this situation to go for nearly 300 yards in this pressure situation is just too high. I thought it would have come in. If you would have said, Coach, what do you think it's going to be? I would have said 245 to 250, never up to 280. And then on the other side, Howie, Jared Goff, the way they play defense, it's not throwing those 40 or 50-yard passes. It's a lot of guys running 5 yards, turning around and catching, whether it's Sam Laporta, whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had 119 catches this year for the Detroit Lions. So that's why I love the completion number and not the attempts number, because of how they go about. Do you like either one of those for me?
I love the over 23.5 because Laporta is going to have a big day because they don't have any other tight ends, really. They signed Ertz and then decided not to put him on the squad. And then Wright, the other tight end who got hurt, is not playing. So I think Laporta is going to be a big factor. And they will throw the ball all over the place. And if they're behind, like I think they will be, they will definitely throw the ball all over the place. So Goff over 23.5, I think is a lock. I think that's an easy yes.
You are watching Driving the Line. If you haven't hit that like button, I encourage you to do so. Take the chat down, hit the like button, put it right back up, and keep on talking. You guys are everything to us. The universe is how we build. Now, AB, let me come over to you because we talk about Brock Purdy and Jared Goff. But when you talk about two guys that have really not proven themselves in the biggest moments, because neither one has been to the promised land yet. Goff is getting on his career, and Purdy, 2 straight years NFC Championship. But you believe that between these two quarterbacks, we're going to see at least 2 INTs. Why?
I do, Coach. And let me pull these up. And remember this. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. All right? He went with the Rams. And remember, they never got past the 35-yard line against the Patriots defense. So you're going to have Goff saying, I've got another chance. This might be my last chance to get to a Super Bowl. Let's take advantage here. And I think he might be a little aggressive coming out of the gate. So I do like him to throw a pick today. I like Brock Purdy to throw a pick today. On BetMGM, take both of these quarterbacks over 1.5 interceptions at plus 130. They don't have to each throw one. You just need 2 in any combination. Could be 2 from Purdy, could be 2 from Goff, could be 1 and 1. Doesn't matter. Just get 2 from both of these guys. And understand that this game, coming off of last week, both teams cannot do the same thing. And what I mean by that is this. San Francisco can't screw around again and play from behind like they did against Green Bay. Because if you thought Jordan Love was tough, Jared Goff will carve your ass up. Ben Johnson, the best OC in the league, is aggressive. So San Francisco has to play hot right from the start and get a lead and play 49er football. The Lions, that's a great defense. What you don't want to do is play from behind against it because it becomes so difficult. I think both of them come out aggressive. I think both of them might be a little too aggressive on the first one. That's not like both of them scoreless opening drive as well.
I love those plays from AB, and I love that analysis too. And one guy, we've kind of mentioned it, Howie, but we haven't really delved into him. And he's also a guy that when you talk about playing for legacy and you talk about being one of the all-time greats, you got to win games like this. You got to get to the big show, and then you've got to win when you get there. And I'm talking about CMC. You like him on the ground today. You also like him in the air today. You believe that today is a game that a superstar, and that's exactly what he's turned himself into. A superstar has to show up in a major way. Explain.
Well, you're one step away from the Super Bowl. I mean, it's that simple. And to me, McCaffrey is such a factor, even when they don't give him the ball. Then teams have to concentrate on him, either running out of the backfield or even carrying the ball, even if they run fakes and then throw it. To me, McCaffrey is a focal point in this game, a very big one. And I think catching the ball is going to be a huge factor for him, as I said, picking this. And as far as the over-under in terms of rush yards, I think he could be like 75 and they'd be happy. Mm-hmm. So 86.5, I think, is just a little too high.
I think the sports books are listening to you, Howie. And I've said, we used to joke about it, but I know this to be true. Sports books watch our show. They see who we're playing with, and they adjust their lines. And that may sound arrogant and cocky, but we have a lot of proof to show that. This has just gone down literally a minute ago to 84.5 at BetMGM at minus 115. How far down would you play it, Howie?
82.
82? All right. So whoever asked that in the chat, there you go. That's your question. All the way down to 82, which I like a lot too. If he's gonna be below 82, he's gonna be in the 60s. So you're gonna have a lot. That's just my opinion. Now we've talked about his rush number, which is 33.5. The receiving number. But when you talk about the Lions on the other side, AB, they have a chance to make history even more because they have the only duo in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to set an NFL record this year. And last week, I picked the wrong guy. I said Gibbs would be the one to fade and Montgomery. No, it was just the flip. So both guys, it just is a matter of which one the Lions decide to use the most, or who has the hot hand, in your opinion? Because sometimes it's like flipping a coin. Who do you think is the guy today that's 1A or 1B?
Jahmyr Gibbs has the higher ceiling. All right. David Montgomery will get the looks, but Jahmyr Gibbs has the higher ceiling. But I'll tell you exactly how to play it. And, Coach, you already did it, and I'll pull it up on your picks here. The way you play it is Jared Goff over 23.5 completions. It is the smartest play on the board today. Look, the Bucs run defense was phenomenal, and we laid it out last week and said, take over 23.5, take over 23.5, take over 23.5. He ended up with 30+. I don't know if he's going to get the 30+ today, but he's going to go over 23.5 because if they're playing ahead, Ben Johnson doesn't change their game. If you notice what the Lions look like when they're playing from ahead, it's the exact same game that they play if they're behind, if they're tied. It doesn't matter. And I love that he operates that way. So Jahmyr Gibbs, higher ceiling. David Montgomery, probably better chances to get there. Jared Goff over 23.5 completions. The smart way to go about it.
I believe we've hit all of our plays. We've announced all of our plays. Any final thoughts, Howie, you need to get out on Lions-49ers before we talk about getting into said club tonight?
Well, I tell you, first of all, I just hope we have two great games today. It's so much fun watching exciting playoff games that are not blowouts. We had so many blowouts early in this playoff. I'm very excited about these two games. And the Lions, of course, a team that I think America's rooting for the Lions, to be honest, because they're such a great story. But Laporta, keep an eye on Laporta. He's going to be a huge factor for the Lions in my mind.
I think we have, you mentioned Dan Campbell. I think you're talking John Harbaugh. We've got great head coaches that are not particularly great at time management. I'm anxious to see if Dan Campbell is the same crazy Dan Campbell that we've seen all season long. The same Dan Campbell that went for 2, down 1 in Dallas, even after a 5-yard penalty. That Dan Campbell. I need to see head coaches that know what they're doing today. I need to see head coaches that understand time management. And yes, Andy Reid, I'm talking to you too. You've been awful in your career at time management. So all of these 4 head coaches, just like their teams, AB, just like their teams, need to be ready for everything today. Your final thoughts on the games?
What you just said, look at the tight ends across the board here. Phenomenal tight ends. And what that means is that these teams have excellent running backs, excellent tight ends, and quarterbacks that can generally move and run, specifically, obviously, in the first game. But what I mean by all that is this: third downs, all right, are going to be crazy today because these guys have safety valves all over the place. We should have 2 awesome games today.
I agree. And we've got two important things we still have left to do before we get out of here. I got to get to my golf, and you guys got to settle in for the games later this afternoon. We've got to predict the first touchdown of the game. And isn't it sweet irony that right before he had to go off and chase his dreams, that Coach Phil did indeed get into the club. So one of my plays today that I'll get to is in honor of Coach Phil and who got him into the club. But Howie, I'm coming to you first because we get to pick one name from each game that is going to score the very first touchdown of the game. Who do you think it'd be? Give me both of your plays.
Well, to be honest with you, I did this last night, and I wrestled with it. Mark Andrews, like I said, I think he's going to have opportunities, and Lamar Jackson can find him in the end zone. Elijah Mitchell is a long shot. I didn't love the heavy odds, so I had to pick someone, and there I am.
We've seen odds at every different level cash for the club. And yes, it is sweet irony. Everybody in the chat understands that Coach Phil got in. But AB, I am selfish. And I love multiple tickets to get into the club. I love bringing my friends along. So yeah, I'm a little chalky today. I got my cocoa butter out. Rashee Rice plus 1,000. And when you look at the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs scored first. I think Lamar Jackson, just like last week, he's going to be a little bit nervous. It's going to take the Ravens a little bit of time to get in sync. That's why the Chiefs are going to jump out to a lead. Rashee Rice or Travis Kelce And I can't play Kelce because his number is way too low. So plus 1,000 there. Then in the second game, my man, Coach Phil, we're thinking about you. With that number 8 caught a touchdown to get him into the club, oh, it made my heart sing. So today at plus 2,200, love that number because Goff has proven that he's willing to go away from Sam Laporta, to go away from Amon-Ra St. Brown, and go to anybody that's open. And Reynolds does that little in and go to the back of the end zone. He loves that pattern. He loves that route. So I'm going to go Josh Reynolds plus 2,200. AB, talk to me.
Nelson Aguilar with the Ravens. We're going in plus 3,000. He gets looks in the red zone all the time. They use him constantly. I'm taking Aguilar here. Again, they have a lot of weapons and a lot of options, and especially with Mark Andrews, it's a great play by Howie there. But Aguilar gets looks, man. They trust him. Lamar trusts him down there. So I'm going to play him in the first one. And then number 2, Sam Laporta. How could you not? Plus 1,100. We spoke about it. Have you ever met somebody from Iowa? They're tough as hell. They have like 95 feet of snow, and they don't care. They just keep going and keep moving. And in this game, all right, you have 2 tight ends from Iowa, both Laporta and George Kittle. So it's going to be a phenomenal tight end game. But I'm going with my man Sam here, plus 1,100.
Speaking of phenomenal, how phenomenal is that graphic? My goodness, the work you and the crew, AB, are doing behind the scenes is next freaking level. It really, really is. And wait till you all see what's coming down the track. Incredible. We are TV ready. If you're a network and you're watching right now, call me. Open for business. Now, Lori says, what's your Coach Phil? The very best, and happy to have had time with him here. Lori, that's what Driving the Line is all about. We talk about family. We talk about crew. We're going to have people coming in and coming out season to season, time to time. You're going to see a bunch of new guys this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, new members of the crew. This Thursday, do not forget, we're launching our merch store. Yes, finally, after promising for a year that we'd have a merch store, it is live this Thursday. And also the club. You want to be a member of the crew? You can now join coming up this Thursday or Friday. Of course, we'll keep you up to date on that. Now, Howie, there are many people in the chat that I said want to be one of Howie's homies. Why? Because not only are you crushing it in the world of tennis, but you are crushing it in the world of college basketball. So if you don't mind, can you give me 2 plays that are on the court today that maybe we can play as we're getting ready for football, sir?
Absolutely. 1 o'clock, you have Purdue-Rutgers. Rutgers is very tough at the rack. The rack has always been a tough place for visitors to come in. I know Purdue has Zach Edey, but there's another factor today. Why is it going to be emotional there? They're honoring the 1976 Final Four team.
Oh,
that is going to be huge. The place is going to be nuts. They are going to be so into this game. And if Rutgers can keep it close, and I think they can, they're going to let Edey score his points. You got to defend the shooters taking threes. That's a big factor. I like Rutgers in 10.5. I think it's a closer game. The other game, Nevada, New Mexico. 2 very good offensive teams. Why do I like Nevada? They've won 9 straight against New Mexico. They have their number, plain and simple. And I like Steve Alford. He's done a great job at Nevada. They have a very solid backcourt. I'm going to go Nevada getting 7.5 to keep this game very close as well.
And for those of you that are brand new to Driving the Line, first of all, thank you for finding us. But even when Howie's not on the show, we will still have picks from him on the show every single day heading up to March Madness. Also, we are currently in the planning stages of what we're going to do, AB, right, for the universe during March Madness. I think we need to have a bracket. What are you thinking?
Coach, I think that we're going to have an excellent time during March Madness, and we will have the brackets all organized and ready for you to go. Don't you fret about that. We will get all the signups in there. Playing it will be free. Obviously, we'll have prizes and fun and all kinds of stuff lined up for you. So as soon as it is open to sign up, buddy, your brackets will be good to go.
Do you think that perhaps, and I hate giving all this away, but, you know, I talked to the bosses who are now us, and I believe that having a watch party during, I don't know, perhaps the Super Bowl, perhaps the big games in March Madness. I think that would be a lot of fun. I mean, watching a game with Howie as he's breaking it down, live betting as well. I think, would you enjoy that, Howie?
And this year is very different for me. This is the first year I'm not committed to working with Dickie V during the tournament. For 20 plus years, I was doing that, even going to his house during the tournament, helping him with his Sports Center hits. This year, I don't have that commitment. I pray Dickie V gets better, and his health is important. He is cancer-free, thank God. He still has problems with his vocal cords, and he's very frustrated. But he's trying his best, and he's tweeting, and he has great stuff for cancer research. Help him out. Go to the Vital page, dickvitalonline.com, and help him out because he deserves it. He's been a legend for so many years. But bottom line, I would love to do this. I'm wide open. I'm free to do this. I'm trying to tweet as much as possible. Tomorrow I will not be on tweet because I'm having, to be honest, surgery on my arm to put a fistula in regarding my dialysis. But I'm too wide open. I tell everything. I'm very honest.
We love that about you.
I love tweeting yesterday all day. And people saw I picked Syracuse as my pick because we didn't have a show, and Syracuse killed NC State. Very happy with that. But going back and forth with people, like people asking me about the UCLA-USC game. And I said, I like UCLA, but, both teams have been disappointing.
Terrible.
And then other games and people back and forth. We just had fun.
That's what it's all about. And it's truly what it's all about. It's hard to believe that we're only 2 weeks into I will never say we're starting over because that's not what it is, because all of you in the chat know that. But the rebranding, the relaunching, doing things what I like to call the right way, and doing them with all of you and giving you anything that you want. Now, we understand. Me and AB know not everything is going to be for you, but we're going to give you so many different ways to take in all the content, have a good time, because like Howie just said, AB, we're only here for a short time. Meaning life in general. And we've seen the last couple of years how quickly things can go. So we want to give everybody a fun place to be included, to have a good time, to chop it up, to go back and forth, to shoot your shot. All of that they can find right here at Driving the Line because we truly, truly love this. Give me your final thoughts. Time for the closing bell.
Absolutely, Coach. Let me say this here in Nashville. We have a phrase for that, all right? We ain't here for a long time. We're damn sure here for a good time, and that's exactly how it's going to go down. Now, to update what the cruise play of the day is going to be, it was a tight race, Coach Howie. It was a tight race between options 1 and 2. Number 2 has won. Ravens money line and over 37.5 at plus 105 is your winner at 31%. Chiefs plus 7.5. The first option was 30%. That's how close it came down to today. So Ravens money line and over 37.5 plus 105 is the cruise play of the day today. Now, as for the closing bell, Coach, you said it best. There's nothing more that I need to add. Howie said it best as well. This is one of the best days of the year. Conference Championship Sunday. Super Bowl is on the line. 4 great teams. Let's see who could do it. Hope everybody has a blast. Watch some football together, have some fun.
You are damn right. And there are certain things in this world that I like doing more than others, but this one is right up there. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the damage that we can do. The greatness of Howie Schwab, our 5-tool player AB, bringing it strong every single day and showing up when others didn't want to. That's how you grind, and that's how you get the job done. Oh, by the way, we'll be starting having content on Saturdays as well moving forward because that's simply what we do. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire level, the legend Howie Schwab, my man AB, the entire universe showing up every single day. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you. so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about. Right here. Pay it forward. Be kind to one another. Driving the line. Good luck.